Good morning, beautiful beings. Happy Friday. It's a little bit chilly here in Warwick today, so I'm a little bit rugged up. But welcome to Arise with Jessica Carey. I decided to pop in early this morning and I hope a few people can join me live before they start work today. But if not, I hope you enjoy watching this video a little bit later. And this week, we are talking about Clove essential oil. Clove, this beautiful being, right here. Oh, it's a bit glary. Clove essential oil. I have really anchored into the essence of clove this week, and it's been just beautiful to witness what unfolds when you really bring attention to something and when you really want to tune into the essence of a particular oil or a particular thing or a particular person. So clove has been a gorgeous oil to move through this week, and I have quite a little bit to share. But first of all, I want to share clove's really practical benefits that you can use in the home. So this guy here is my favorite DIY cleaning spray. So clove is beautiful for any types of cleaning. So it's antibacterial, antifungal, and it's a really beautiful oil to firstly cleanse in a diffuser. So if you've got spaces like bathrooms, different things, diffusing clove is going to support that environment. And also in a space of business or anywhere that you need to clear out any energy. So clove, I've had diffusing in the salon all week, and I've mixed it with a beautiful diffuser blend. If you want to write this one down, it's a beautiful blend of clove. I put probably like 3 or 4 drops, and then I mix it with citrus bliss. So citrus bliss is a beautiful citrus oil. I just find it softens it, and I've had so many people be like, what are you diffusing this week? And who would have thought clove? So clove, for that many of you may know, and anyone new watching, is actually in one of our blends called On Guard. And there's about 5 scents in this beautiful blend that doTERRA has created, and one of them is clove, and most people smell the clove first. And they're like, oh yeah, I can really smell the clove in that. So if you don't have a pure bottle of gorgeous clove, On Guard is going to suffice for that as well. So using that as a beautiful blend to diffuse as well, adding some more citrus oils, and also using it, just to cleanse whatever space that you're in. So a really, really, really effective cleaner. So this guy, I'm going to read out what's in it. So I've got clove, eucalyptus, wild orange, tea tree, and lemon. So this is my multi-purpose cleaner. So this is what I use in the salon. So no harsh chemicals in the salon space at all, or the home. So bathroom cleaner, bench top spray. It's just like my all-round multi-purpose spray. So this one's got some vinegar in it, some white vinegar, and it's got, I think I would have put probably 5 of each. I can't remember how many drops, and you can always research how many drops yourself, but I'm a bit of a blender, as in I don't do measurements. So you can pop a few drops of each of those, so if you can see them, you can write them down. And yeah, this is just my multi-purpose cleaner, so I use it for everything. It's just really effective and really simple and easy to use, really cheap to make. Just really, really cheap to make. So each oil is cents per drop. So when you're looking at replacing your toxic load in your home compared to a lot of the toxic chemicals out there, it's a really cheap, effective alternative. So white vinegar, distilled water, and then whatever drops of essential oil that you would like to use is a really beautiful cleaner in the home. And because of the properties of clove in there, as well as the other essential oils, you've got the antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial. So you're going to clean your surfaces, especially when you've got children around. You can clean your surfaces, and you're not going to have them crawling or wiping or touching it where you've already sprayed toxic chemicals, because everything is absorbed within the skin. So our skin is one of our largest organs, and it absorbs everything we put on it. So being able to use something that's clean, safe, effective, but also does the work of what we've been programmed to use in society is a really beautiful way to reduce that toxic load in your home. So I would encourage you to have a go at that. If you don't have essential oils in your life and you're looking to incorporate them, please reach out to me. Just send me a PM and I'm happy to support you in that journey. Okay, what else have I used clove for? Clove just been, I don't usually diffuse it a lot. I more so go for on guard, but because I anchored into it this week, I was like, okay, I'm going to diffuse it. I'm going to make up some blends. So again, I added your wild orange or your citrus bliss, lemon, like all your kind of citrus oils that soften that really strong scent. I find clove is quite a strong scent and many people can find it quite overbearing, which I'm actually going to go into because the emotional connection to this oil is really profound. So clove is also a really good oil for dental. So if you have a little bit of a toothache or anything going on in your mouth that you're finding you're in a little bit of pain, I find clove actually quite numbing for that area. So applying it on the jawline for things like teething with some fractionated coconut oil, because clove is known as a hot oil, which means on the skin it can cause a little bit of irritation if not diluted with the carrier oil. So please dilute this oil, really important, especially for children, but also for adults. So applying that to the jawline, if you have like a toothache and it's going to support that. I also find I apply it directly to the area inside my mouth. So say if you have a wisdom tooth coming through and it's causing a little bit of trouble, it's just going to numb that area without using other products that, again, we've been taught to use. So I find it's a really natural alternative for dental care. Adding it to your toothpaste to support any bacteria in the mouth. As we know, most viruses and infections start in the mouth. So if we can create a really clean environment in our mouth, it's going to support our whole overall function. So something I actually do to support that for myself is I do a technique called oil pulling, which I would encourage you to Google or research. So it's where I use a teaspoon of coconut oil every single morning and I pop a drop of clove or a drop of frankincense or a drop of on guard on with that, and I pop that in my mouth and I literally swish it around for 20 minutes. I know some of you are going, whoa, 20 minutes, that's a long time. How do you have time for that? I literally do it as soon as I wake up, before I drink any water, because if we drink water straight up, it's actually getting washed straight back down into our system, and a lot of toxins can be within the mouth when we wake up. So first thing I do in the morning is something called oil pulling. And I add the oil to that and I swish it around my mouth for 20 minutes while I'm getting ready and while I'm getting organized or getting my breakfast ready, that type of thing. So I find oil pulling really supportive for, really do your research on this, because it's quite phenomenal. It supports bad breath, it supports cavities, it supports whitening of teeth, it supports so many things to do with the dental arena, and then adding clove into that is just a really powerful catalyst at supporting, because it is antibacterial and antimicrobial. So adding clove for your dental care is a really beautiful way to use it. And that's about the main ways I've used it practically and physically on the body, but I've really anchored into it on a deeper emotional and energetic level, as always, this week. So I'm always going to give you the physical, the practical, but also the emotional and the energetic, so we can really anchor into all facets of ourselves. So clove on an emotional level is the oil of boundaries. Okay, so what does boundaries bring up for you? I know in the past I've had really poor boundaries around my own sovereignty and my own essence as a woman, and I witness it within all of society. We have been taught not to have boundaries around who we are and what we stand for. Firstly, I'm going to read a little quote that I found because I think it's really, really important, especially for a lot of the young women out there. And the work that I do, this is really, really important because I see it all the time. I see it so constantly, whether that's on social media or in person. So Don't let yourself get so depleted of self-love and worthiness that the littlest attention makes you ignore your boundaries and abandon yourself entirely. Keep yourself so full that you're not tempted to binge eat emotional garbage. Why make your heart settle for junk food when you deserve a soul feast? So I found that last night, actually. It popped up on my newsfeed, and I wanted to share that with you guys, because how often are we allowing people, situations, partners, family members to cross certain boundaries because we haven't been able to speak our truth, or we didn't even know that we dropped our boundary, whether that's emotionally or energetically. So when we look at the body, not only do we have our physical vessel, we also have a mental plane, we have an emotional plane, and we have an energetic plane. So we have many different auras or energy systems within our body. So what I love about these systems is they actually tap us deeper into parts of ourselves that in society we have not been taught how to tap into, and our emotional and our energetic bodies are something I'm really passionate about, and really passionate about educating on, but in a really grounded way that people can understand and incorporate really practical techniques to support that. So when we look at boundaries, for many years I've witnessed boundaries in a way that's to keep what you don't want out. And over the last couple of years, I've really softened into a new way of seeing that. So in my profession, for instance, I'm touching people every single day. So every person that comes into my space that I'm touching, we're having an exchange. We're having an energetic exchange. That doesn't matter whether you play sport. That doesn't matter with a partner, whether you're in an over-the-counter job, or whether you're physically touching someone in a profession like massage, hair, beauty, whatever it may be. But being quite a sensitive soul and quite attuned energetically, I really pick up on a lot of people's energy. So for me personally, I actually need to protect myself emotionally and energetically. Otherwise, I can get quite drained really quickly. So for many years in the start of my hairdressing, I never understood why I felt so exhausted when I finished a day in the salon. Or many of you may have heard of the term, or may not have, energetic vampires. So if you think of anyone that you're spending time with, or a family member or a friend that downloads a lot of stuff to you, and after you leave them, you feel like you've been hit by a Mack truck, and you're like, that was heavy. So what I find beautiful to use Clove for, or the essential oil blend On Guard, is to create an energetic boundary for myself. So diffusing it in the salon is really powerful for me, not only for its antiviral, antibacterial properties for airborne threats and viruses, but also for that energetic support for me. So I don't get to the end of the day and want to collapse in a heap, because people have drained the energy out of me because of their stories, because of their negativity, because of all the different things that they have going on in their life that they want to download to someone. So I've learned over time that I'm actually a powerful vessel for people to really express what they're going through in a safe environment, but I've also had to learn to really protect myself. And anyone who's in any type of job with people or retail would understand this. And I love being of service in that way, but not to the detriment of my soul and not to the detriment of my health. So what I've learned is I used to then create boundaries. Like I used to pop up a white light, an energy barrier around me to protect me, and I still do that to this day. But also using this oil in the salon, and anytime I'm around people, I actually pop this blend on every time I go down the street, anytime I go to the shopping center, anytime I'm around people, because there is so many exchanges of energy when we're out in the world that is happening, that it's so easily to not actually realize we've dropped boundaries, that we haven't attuned to ourselves in a way that's still in our sovereignty, and we're just not aware that there's holes in our boundaries. So what I've actually learnt over the last couple of years is that boundaries aren't about keeping people out. Boundaries are about being centered in myself. So in a really practical way, for instance, if you don't want to receive text messages or business calls after 8 p.m. at night, and someone messages you at 9 o'clock at night about a business question and you get annoyed or frustrated. It's actually up to you to create that boundary. It's not about you setting a boundary with other people being like, don't message me after 8 p.m. This is about, okay, at 8 p.m, you pop your phone on flight mode and you actually honor your own boundary. So what I have learnt is that boundaries are about our own sovereignty. They're about being so attuned to ourselves and our body that we actually don't allow things that don't serve us to penetrate our energy field and to come into our awareness without us first being able to decipher whether we want to bring that into our space or bring that into our body. And yeah, it's just a really powerful way to shift out of what is known as victim mode and really step into your own power, your own inner strength. And it's one of the most powerful things you can do. And it's something I'm really passionate about teaching, is especially with young women, is to really honor and know your own boundaries. No one can cross a boundary unless you let them. So whether that's with meeting a fellow, or with a partner or with whatever, if you can express your needs and express what your boundary is and stay in that sovereign space, no one will cross that. So it's also about letting go of patterns where you're self-sabotaging and self-betrayal by just dropping that all the time. So it's also about a subtle awareness of being aware of when you do drop a boundary. So boundaries are not about keeping all the bad stuff out, because what can happen, and I know for me personally, is when I started to first create boundaries is I not only dropped, I used boundaries to keep all the energy I didn't want out, but I also stopped from letting all the good stuff in. So what I've become aware of over the last week or so is that it's okay to let people into my emotional body, and it's not going to cause hurt all the time. And I've witnessed this so much with people who've gone through heartbreak or hurt or any type of pain in their life, is that as soon as some type of pain is caused in the emotional and energetic bodies, and also on that practical and physical level, we can shut off our heart, we can shut off boundaries, we can just shut off completely to actually allow the good stuff in. And I've had a gorgeous situation in the last couple of weeks that I actually allowed someone into my emotional body again, and it was quite a confronting situation because I hadn't let someone in that space in a while, but I'm also really proud of myself that I did. So know that boundaries is something that you will continuously work on and you will continuously adapt to, and know that boundaries are your own, that it's not about keeping everything out, it's also about allowing the good stuff in, to know that you're worthy of that, and to know that it's your own inner power that's going to be able to know what you let in. It's a subtle awareness of knowing what people serve and what people don't, but also being really self-aware of when situations arise that you can grow and that you can learn and that you can allow new people and new joyful, loving experiences into your life. So boundaries isn't about just keeping everything out. It's also about knowing and being aware of yourself of when you're ready to allow new things in that may have to drop some walls or drop some boundaries that you've built around yourself or your heart. And I've also noticed that boundaries are about your ability to say no. I witness so much in society, so many people, especially beautiful mothers with young children, who are giving and giving and giving to everybody and are feeling depleted. So boundaries are also about your ability to express clear boundaries and say no when you need to, and know that regardless of people's reactions, that's your boundary. So it's about staying so deeply connected to your sense of self that you don't drop that. And I think that's a really powerful way that we can live in the world. And yeah, I've just found Clove has supported me in that this week. So it's been really exciting to move through where my boundaries were at and where I can actually soften in my boundaries and where I feel really good in being able to hold those. So I feel respected and loved and supported for who I am. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight about Clove this week. And I hope that supported you on a really practical level to use it in the home and in the diffuser to support any airborne threats and viruses on this beautiful first day of winter. And yeah, I really hope that you'll be able to anchor into that scent of Clove on that boundary level, on that emotional and energetic level, because it's really powerful when you can witness yourself as a really sovereign being who can express that and hold yourself strong, whether you are male or female. It's just a really powerful shift you can make in your life. So thank you for witnessing this beautiful live about Clove, whether you're live now, beautiful ladies, or whether that's later on. And yeah, this week has been just beautiful witnessing it. So if you want to have a look at the practical, the emotional, especially the scientific, I love the scientific on Clove this week. So please check out my page. I've shared some different things every day on that. So if you want to have a bit of a read through anything to do with boundaries or just the practical benefits, please have a look. And next week, I am diving into the beautiful copaiba. So copaiba is a new oil in the Australian market over the last couple of months, and I'm really excited to share the benefits about it. And yeah, I'm going to tune into that on Monday. So I hope you have a gorgeous weekend, and happy Friday, happy first day of winter, and I look forward to sharing my musings on copaiba with you next week. And that is it for Clove Week. Mwah! Enjoy your day.